If I've learned anything over the last several years, it's that once you combine nostalgia with expectations, very rarely are you left with anything memorable or worthwhile. And most times, yeah, let's just say, the developers, they take a big fat fucking shit all over your childhood, all over your memories, all over your nostalgia, and what you're left with is, well, long story short, you're left with a real fucking piece of shit. But it doesn't end there. Oh, no. No, see, that's not possible. There's also something else that has to happen. It's pretty nostalgic in its own right. You know, people have to sit in their chair, or on their couch, or whatever, fire up their recording software, and yell and scream about it at the top of their lungs non-stop. It's nostalgic in that own sense. You know, remember angry reviewers? Remember those people who used to yell and scream at video games? Like myself. Most of us, you know, we kind of grew out of it when we were retired, but it seems like you can't stay away from it for too long because the moment you pull out, let's just face it, it's kind of like a vagina. You want back in. And in this case, I kind of want back in. I want back in the smelly fucking cunt-infested piece of shit that Gearbox Software created. Because let me tell you something. I may have called a lot of games pieces of shit in the past, but when it comes down to it, this is 100% the real fucking deal. There's no salt. There's no grain of salt. There's no take it with a grain of salt. None of that shit applies. No, what we have here is completely and utterly a game that sucks. And if you'll let me, I'm gonna tell you all about it. Cue the titles! Before we even go anywhere, let me just say this. I love the movie Aliens. I think it's one of the best sci-fi films ever made. It combines horror, action, suspense, and all the elements that make up a really, really good film you can watch 100+ times, including memorable lines of dialogue that everybody and their mother, every fucking dork under the sun, will reference at least once a month. Maybe more so. But in this case, there's only one reference that fits, completely and utterly fits. Game over, man! Game over! From the intro to this game alone, besides the fantastic soundtrack, which I'll get into later, the graphics already look like shit. Now, I know the game has been going through development hell. I know it bounced from point to point and never got finished and was originally intended as a PS2 game a long fucking time ago. But that doesn't mean, under any circumstance, that the textures should be this low quality. At this point in time, we have hit the point where graphics should be improving, not deproving. And this is the second fucking time in a row that Gearbox Software has done this. Note the screen tearing as well. That's consistent throughout the whole thing. But look at the flicker on the fucking shadows, look at the shitty textures and character models in this scene right here, and that sets you up for the ride ahead. And it's a real fucking shame too, because normally I can look past graphics. But in this case, there's no fucking way I can look past the graphics, because they take up the entirety of the game, and the game is supposed to be atmospheric. And it's not atmospheric when you see shit like this! or shit like this. Normally, I don't give two shits about visuals. The graphics would be good, bad, whatever. It's the gameplay, the core experience that's, the most important thing. And this is true in this case as well. Here's the problem. Aliens on a whole needs to be atmospheric. It needs to be creepy. It needs to be scary. It's not scary with almost lesser than PS2 level graphics showing up at random intervals mixed with some next gen. Such a mixed bag, in fact, that it throws you the fuck off. On top of, again, screen tearing like none other. I have never seen a game tear so many times when nothing is happening. You literally just move and the screen shifts like 90 degrees to the left and the right at the same time. Seriously, watch this fucking scene. You will see screen tearing. See it? And that's even worse. I've actually modified video footage slightly to tone it down because when I captured the video, it looked even worse. So, on top of the screen tearing, and here, again, you can see bad textures. You can also see me going through the fucking wall. Things like this kill the atmosphere. They kill the immersion. But on top of that, when you have horrible fucking controls, plus bad textures, plus bad visuals, plus no sense of atmosphere or suspense, the game element is completely ruined. By the way, I thought I was playing Aliens, Colonial Marines. Not aliens, or, I'm sorry, colonoscopy Marines. Let's shoot at the stupid-ass AI a bit more. The aliens AI is pretty bad. But why the fuck am I shooting at humans? Last time I checked, I didn't buy fucking Halo. Or Call of Duty. Or any other fucking modern-day shooter. I bought something to shoot the fucking xenomorphs. Zeno, whatever the fuck. It's one of the two. I bet you Randy knows less about that shit than I do, though, even if I mispronounce every fucking name in the book. Like, seriously. You can literally see from this scene alone, bad texture work, horrible shadows, pop-ins, stupid AI. I'm standing right there, they're not doing shit. Meanwhile, if you peek out, their bullets are heat-seeking. They magically find you no matter where the fuck you go. The greatest thing, though, the best thing is that I can make fun of all the modern military shooters all I want. I can make fun of Halo all I want. I can make fun of decent or really good games or just generally good, well-efforted productions all I want. But here's the truth. This scene, like a lot of other scenes in the game, including with the aliens, with the Wei soldiers, with everything, they drag on and on and on. And I don't know if you're watching the footage that I'm watching, but when I had to play this, there was a point where I was literally falling asleep. These are so fucking boring, and as you can see, I'm like nigh on invincible, and this is not on easy, this is on the normal difficulty setting, so there should be some fucking challenge, right? No. The only challenge that occurs in this game is when shit like this happens. So, before this, you finish this humongous ass firefight, right? And then I get to this point where nothing's progressing. And I notice one of my teammates is shooting at a fucking door. The other one is staying in cover, also shooting at the door on occasion. And I'm going like, okay, so what the fuck's up? And then I see it. Now, you know what the best part about this is? If you do not kill this enemy, the scripting will not proceed forward. The game just stops dead in its tracks. And this will happen all the fucking time. And it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, and I could laugh if it meant that the sequence beforehand wasn't so goddamn long. Here! Have a look! Now, what I want you to do is I want you to keep in mind that was compressed for time. It was sped the fuck up. Here's the best part. Once you finish that scene I just showed you, and I'm telling you that happened more than once, you're looking at recording number 3 of the same fucking thing happening over and over again, this is what awaits you. Well, what awaits you anyway after you navigate the shit level design here. And I know they captured the look and feel of things to a degree. The problem is, even if you use the waypoint thing, even if you check where you're going, you seem to never know where the fuck you're going. You gotta literally wait for your AI teammates to run off ahead of you. Meanwhile, there's a million collectibles to find and they're running ahead and they're actually spouting off dialogue and cutscenes and shit while you're like way in the back and it switches between the radio comm and the actual voice acting up close, and then, yeah, more of this shit. And I feel bad that I mentioned Halo, because Halo actually doesn't have human opponents. You know, you fight the fucking Covenant, so that was a fuck up. But this game has got me all kinds of fucked up. And Call of Duty, let me tell you something, it may be a little repetitive, it might be, you know, a bit overdone at this point, but at least it's consistent. This is not Aliens. I did not come here to fight Weyland-Yutani. I came here to fight the fucking aliens. And again, I could forgive this if it wasn't so goddamn tedious and boring. It's not challenging. If you die, it's because you fucked up, most likely, because you just didn't give a shit. Anytime I die in this game, it's either 1, a glitch, or 2, simply because I wasn't paying enough attention, because I just didn't give 2 shits to a fucking ass fart about what was going on, or what happened next. When you have to push yourself to play a game, when you literally just bought a game, you gotta push yourself to continue onward, you know there's problems. When you're sitting there literally dreading another goddamn shootout with Weyland-Yutani troopers, hoping to God that the game would get its shit in gear and do what it's supposed to do, what it advertises in the trailers non-fucking stop, which by the way are fake because the footage in the trailers, half of it's not in the final fucking production. Not to mention the fucking previous builds, the demos and other things look better and played better than this. When all that is stacked against you, it gets to the point where it's literally fucking torture to continue onward. Oh, an exploding barrel. I actually learned something about these exploding barrels. They're placed in areas so that if you lead the troops out towards them, you could blow up the barrels and kill all the troops in one shot. So, see it like that, right there. They're literally set up to kill everything in sight. So not only is this game boring as shit most times, but it has been designed so that it could be even more easy to play, boring, and tedious. This is a fucking joke. There were better FPSs made in the fucking realm when like Doom and Wolfenstein were created. They were more engaging and more intense, and I got news for you. When it comes to Aliens, there are other games in the Aliens franchise. Alien vs. Predator, the original, Alien vs. Predator 2, hell, even the Alien vs. Predator remake that came out, I think, in 2010, is so much more fun to play than this fucking game. Not only that, when I can literally sit here and go, there was a PlayStation 1 Alien game, I believe it was called Alien Trilogy, that was more engaging and more fun and definitely more suspenseful than this, we have a problem. But even more so, when I can go all the way back to the fucking Jaguar and tell you that Alien vs. Predator on the Jaguar was better, we have a really humongous fucking massive ass problem! And this scene is still fucking going! These fucking things never end! And I don't know if you've noticed it yet, but the best fucking part about this entire sequence is, because of that door glitch, all the music has died! At random times, the sound effects or music will completely go out, and they won't come back until you hit the next checkpoint. And FYI, if you should die anytime during these sequences when it says checkpoint loaded or whatever the fuck it says, when you see checkpoint, if you lose, you have to do the entire fucking thing all over again. And you will experience the same glitch every fucking time. And the best is, if you watch the credits for this game, it's like 5.5 minutes, and when you see the amount of QA testing that was fucking available based on those credits, you will sit there and wonder, who the fuck was testing this shit? Fucking nobody, that's who! So at this point in time, you're probably wondering, but what about the aliens? Armek, tell us about the aliens. Show us the aliens. You want to see the aliens? Okay, I'll show you the aliens. You got 2 varieties, grand total. The first ones are retards that run into gunfire, don't try to dodge or evade anything, stand around, get lost in their own fucking pathfinding, get stuck in walls, ignore you entirely. One comes after you at random and might kill you because it throws you off because you're falling asleep. These are not the aliens I remember from the goddamn film that was so terrifying and scary they gave me fucking nightmares when I was younger. The only damage they do, in fact, 90% of the time, is from the acid leak that causes after you shoot them. And let me tell you, if you happen to get one of those quick time events where you kill it with your gun up close, which looks really badass, yeah, you take fucking damage! But these derpy fuckers in this scene, yeah, those are the majority of the aliens you fight in the game. Oh, and note this. I'm still fighting aliens in a scripted sequence, and then the next script is kicked in for the cutscene where what's-his-name tells you to go find the fucking smart gun. Way to go, QA testing! The second type of alien, however, you encounter when you fall in the sewer. And let me tell you, it's at this point when you question, has anyone ever really watched the Aliens movies? How the fuck am I supposed to find that scary? That is one of the derpiest looking motherfucking enemies I have ever seen. It's walking on its hind legs. Alright, let me explain. They're supposed to be blind, so they work through sound. Any movement you make, they hear it. Supposedly. But again, based on the AI you've seen so far, these things are pretty fucking stupid. You just saw him walk right into me and past me, nothing happened. Now, sometimes they'll get you, sometimes they won't. But I just want to go over this again. This is the stupidest looking fucking thing I have seen in the longest time, and no effort whatsoever was put in to a sequence that, honest to God, had just a little bit of effort been provided. This could have actually been one of the most terrifying sequences in the game, and perhaps redeemed it somewhat. But it doesn't, because like everything else in this god-fucking-saking game, it just is a piece of fucking shit that never does what it's supposed to. It's not scary, it's fucking tedious. But then again, this is the game that thinks you're a fucking moron and you're not gonna realize certain things. Such as this, for example. The fact that they took something really iconic, something really special to Aliens, and they turned it into a walking turret section. This is when you have the smart gun. This is nothing but a turret section on legs. And when you run out of ammo, you're not penalized. You just get your regular guns, run around shooting everything. And again, these aliens, these xenomorphs, are so fucking derpy and so fucking stupid, have the worst fucking pathfinding AI in the world, so it really doesn't even fucking matter. You can literally run around in a goddamn circle or run past them for all it matters. They don't give a shit. They just do whatever the fuck they want. Everything in this fucking game is broken. Are you getting the message? It's not even me being fictional about it. I'm not making any of this shit up. This game is broken beyond words. Nothing functions right. The only things that work are the following. The soundtrack to this game is fantastic. Kevin Ripple has captured the elements of both Alien and Aliens in terms of musical cues and soundtrack motifs and themes running throughout the entirety of the thing, and he manages to capture all the elements that Jerry Goldsmith and James Horner provided for both soundtracks and combine it into one humongous, tremendous, amazing musical score. The problem is, every time the game breaks down, the soundtrack stops playing, and that's a shame because the music really fits all the scenes that are happening, and it's one of the reasons the game still manages to keep you entertained even if you're bored out of your fucking mind. On top of that, I've heard the entire soundtrack, including the cues that are used between tracks to split up the sounds so that a song doesn't just end dramatically, you know, just da 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 da, and that's it. No, it sort of melds into the next track or cuts to dead silence, but it does it in a very stylish way, and because of the way Gearbox has done absolutely no fucking effort whatsoever into this game, that too is completely wasted, and I really, really hope that the person who made the soundtrack for this game makes more soundtracks for better games, because God knows that person deserves better. So A+ on this soundtrack, fucking amazing work. Unlike fucking Gearbox, who get a fucking F-, those lazy shits. But okay, the one other good thing about this game is... This is actually a really big one, because I love this. Don't you remember in Aliens when the Marines just dead stopped in their tracks to look over their guns and decide, you know what? I think I shot 5 enemies. I think it's time for an upgrade. So let me go to my little screen here and let me decide, what add-ons would I like? Would I like a laser scope? Would I like a better sight? Would I like to increase the stock on my gun? Would I like to play Call of fucking Duty? Or any number of other games that have this feature? Remember when the Marines did that? I sure as fuck don't! So I'm pretty sure at this point you're wondering about the storyline, right? The supposed redux of the canon to the Aliens movies and things like that. I'm not talking about that because it's fucking retarded. More to the point, I've only shown the first 5 hours, give or take, of this game for a specific reason. And that reason is There is no point to show the other half of the game. Besides a broken-ass boss battle that breaks down more times than I care to even fucking count, it literally is a copy and paste of the exact thing from the beginning. If you play this game for 3.5 to 5 hours, you have played the entirety of the game. It never gets better, it never improves, and there's no fucking point whatsoever to continue on. You've literally seen the entire game. The ending fucking sucks, the storyline fucking sucks, and the game fucking sucks. End of fucking story. Oh, and Randy Pitchford, you fucking suck. You cock-sucking scumbag, cheating motherfucking piece of shit. You and your team put out one of the worst fucking games ever, and you are now reckoned in the annals of fucking Daikatana, Superman 64, Bomberman Act Zero, and a whole other bunch of games that, as we all know, Kitty Vinkies, are games that suck!